Any questions, choir? Yeah, just like always. I'll be having you stand, and Lisa will be able to pinch hit for me when I forget. So, very good, choir. Yep. By the way, it's
Shabbat Shalom. same thing happened the previous time. You said you sent a few sheep out.
Really?
So I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Hi.
Yeah. I got something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yes. Okay. So we'll start singing. I'll get them. I'll call them back in. Let me call them back in.
So this is accurate, right?
That's totally accurate. Yes. Indeed it is. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. From now on, I will look. Let's see. Gotta get to the bottom of it. I'm looking for it. It was Monday. It could be my fault.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good evening. Welcome. We welcome those who have gathered here in our physical sanctuary. We welcome those who are participating in worship in our digital sanctuary. We are so pleased that all of you are with us. And I'd like to take this moment to invite you to wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Those who are present in our physical sanctuary, turn to the people in front of you, next to you, behind you. If you are spread out, feel free to get up and move around. Those who are participating digitally, we invite you to wish each other Shabbat Shalom in the comments section of the YouTube or the Facebook version of our digital access. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As we continue our worship, we do so with the kindling of the Sabbath candles and the Kiddush, the blessing over the Sabbath wine. I'd like to invite Barbara and Steve Miller to come forward to help lead us in these blessings, page 2 or page 5 in your Siddur. If you have the thicker volume, page 120 or 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalik nishel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Stephen, if you'll pick up the...
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Grape juice.
We are so grateful to have the members of our choir here to enhance our music, to enhance our worship. On page 20 and page 138, you'll find the words to Lecha Dodi, the Sabbath hymn. On page 22 in your Siddur, in your prayer books, that indented paragraph, Tzadik Katamar, is part of Psalm 92, and it is a reminder that righteousness is so well rooted, and those who perform acts of righteousness, acts of tzedakah, find themselves more firmly rooted in community, find themselves more rooted in that which is good, and stronger and better able to continue to build on one good work to the next. Tzadik Katamar Yifrach.
To
We move from these introductory passages that celebrate the sacred nature of Shabbat, reminding us of the beauty that it holds, the wholeness that it can bring. And we continue with the Shema and its blessings, beginning first with Baruch Hu, our call to worship. We invite you to rise as you are able. I invite you to join with me on page 31, page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימחלנו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו,
המעריב ערבי.
I invite you to pray responsively on page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo,
Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 40, we join together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Page 342. As our ancestors sang and danced their way to freedom, celebrating this newfound experience, this newfound joy, this newfound opportunity to be a community, to bring blessing to one another, They still prayed for continued protection from God, that God would bring for them and bring for us a sukkah of shalom, a shelter of shalom, of wholeness and well-being. You can find the words to Hashkivenu on page 42, or if you have the thicker volume, page 160. We've arrived now at the central part of our worship, the Amidah, the prayer in which we direct ourselves physically, spiritually, in so many ways, to reach out each in our own way to God. Reaching out to God, who is the God of our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, the God with whom we each connect with in our own individual ways. We praise the God of our ancestors. We praise God's power that we have the opportunity to exhibit, to see manifest in our lives in so many different ways. We join together first with the meditation Adonai Svatai, beginning on page 46 in our prayer books. I invite you to rise as you are able.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umkayem emunato lishenei afar, Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaya, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. We never miss an opportunity to pray for shalom, for wholeness and well-being. We do so in many ways, in Hashkivenu, in our Kaddish in its various forms. And here at the end of the Amidah, in the evening, we pray for a shalom rav, for a great sense of wholeness and well-being to descend on us, on our families, our community, and indeed upon all the world.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We invite you to take these next few moments for the prayers not necessarily found written in our prayer books, but the prayers that we each can find written in our hearts in this moment of silent reflection.
On every Shabbat, we find ourselves filled with prayers, prayers of gratitude, prayers of longing, prayers of knowing we wish we could have done better and trying to do better. We're filled with prayers, and the space gets filled with prayers. But perhaps some of the strongest prayers are the ones that we say throughout our entire lives, every moment of every day, not just ones that Shabbat calls us to, but the ones where our love calls us to say those prayers. The prayers that we have for those that we hold in our hearts who maybe could use a little extra blessing themselves, whether it's a blessing of body, a blessing of spirit, or a blessing of soul. And so if you're joining us in our digital sanctuary and would like to share the name of someone whom you are thinking of, I invite you to type the name of someone into the comment section. And if you're joining us here in our physical sanctuary, I'd like to share the name. I invite you to rise and say a name out loud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Jerry Slater.
Thank you. And as a community, we think of Aileen Blum, Norman Boyer, Sarah Cohen, Harvey Ezrell, Dan Franks, Gail Garbarski, Barbara Hoffman, Larry Cart, Justin Kett Keller, Jim Clapman, Nicole and Michael McGovern, Warren Meister, Jane Neal, Daryl Osborne, Betty Pallas, Mark Pierce, Ronald Rubin, Jocelyn Snower, Katie Sparrow, Larry Steiner, Patricia Weinfuss, Mark Weiss, Beth Weiner, and George Wittenberg. Our Misha Berach prayer, our prayer for healing, can be found on page 253 or 371.
No one's before.
And speaking of blessings, not only are we filled with blessings that we like to share with each other in times of difficulty, we also get to share blessings with each other in times of celebration. And so, Julie, I'd like to invite you forward because we get to celebrate you. Because this is a milestone birthday for you. You're turning 21. No, you're not turning 21? Oh, well. This birthday for you, all 65 years, is an amazing achievement because you know what it means to live every single moment of every single one of those years. You celebrate in the moments that call for it. You support in the moments that call for it. You accept support in those moments that call for it. You know what it means to live every single moment of your life. And so we get to be able not just to celebrate with you, but to celebrate you in this wonderful achievement. And it really, really is. It's an achievement because it's not always easy. But it is always worth it because you get to share all of those blessings and all of that wisdom and all of that love that is who you are with all of us. And you inspire us to do the same. And so in this moment of celebration and achievement, I get to say thank you for sharing your blessing with us, for sharing every moment of what it has meant to raise a family, to be a part of a community, to share your voice and share your thoughts. We are better because of that. And so in this moment of celebration, your blessing becomes all of our blessing, and we get to celebrate that all together. So, mazel tov. And before you go away, because it is the third Friday.
I'm surprised. I'm going to do your blessings because it's y'all.
Cool. Because it's the third Friday, we get to celebrate all March birthdays. So if you have a March birthday and would like to declare yourself for a blessing as well, you can enjoy your blessing in secret if you would like, but Rabbi Cohen's so brave.
That's why I'm doing the blessing.
We share a birthday month.
Oh my gosh. Well, then you do it. I'll bless you guys.
No, there you go.
Sure?
Enjoy.
Are you sure?
Have fun.
Sure? Okay. So I just trumped the blesser, because I found out that my two clergy partners I realized that they're March, right? So March is such an awesome month. It's my favorite month. I was just telling my mom today's her birthday, and it's my favorite month ever because it's that month right before with so much possibility, so much spring coming, so much warmth that's coming, and that's all of you. It's all of you, so much that I know. Jackie, with your beautiful voice, Rabbi, with all the possibilities that you bring to us, to this temple, all of you are a tzaddik, all of you are women of valor. We are so blessed to have you in our community, and we are so blessed. And I said tzaddik and women of valor. We are so blessed to have all of you, people of valor. We're so blessed to have you in our community. I am blessed to work with you and learn from you each day. And we say, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivorech et amo v'shalom. May God bless you with strength and give you the blessing of peace. And we will say together, Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Happy birthday!
Sure, anniversaries can count next time. There's never too few reasons to have blessings. So those of you who know me know that I like to ask questions that rarely have a single answer. I like to get the thoughts of everyone around me, kind of put it all together, or enjoy the mental debate, the stretching that comes with having a question that has no actual answer. And so I get to ask all of you a question. And I should say that I'm going to do my best to also look at the Facebook and YouTube comments. So if you're joining us online, I want to know what your thoughts are too. So, a question for all of you. What is the purpose of Shabbat? What's the purpose? I hear someone taking a nap already. I do like a good Shabbat Schlaf, though I usually wait until Saturday afternoon for that, but we'll get there. What's the purpose to Shabbat? Rest. Great. Recharging. There's no one right answer, so any answer could be. A night refocus. Nice. I hear a lot of re's in here. Reconnecting, reflecting.
To remind us that we're like God.
Nice. To remind us that we are like God. We do God-like things. A stopping. Greg was? Alignment. Nice. Other thoughts? I'm going to keep switching between apps here. Peace, inner peace. You're letting the choir do all of your work for you. And you are very good at it. Thank you. A day of difference. Excellent. Something a little bit new, something unexpected, breaking the pattern. Great. John? Excellent. I see you've already read ahead. If you don't celebrate, you'll die. So says the Torah portion. I'm so glad that all of you are here tonight. The day is young, but Shabbat, it keeps us going from Shabbat to Shabbat. Nice, the possibility of change. So not just a day of difference, but the possibility to find more difference. Excellent. Rachel? That separation between the mundane and the sacred. We get that wonderful Havdalah blessing to Havdil between the everyday, the routine, and that sacred. Yeah, Karen? Nice. Rejoicing in what is good. I think we've got that tonight, yeah? There's many, many right answers, but think about that purpose that Shabbat plays in your life, in the Jewish tradition. And then here's the follow-up question. How do your Shabbat traditions, whether they're traditional or not, whatever you choose to do on Shabbat, support that purpose? How does what you do on Shabbat support Shabbat's purpose? Randy? Nice. Right, so ways to enhance, encourage your joy. You do things that make you feel that joy. The wannas, not the have-tos. Perfect. Did I hear something over here, Cantor? And then Deborah? Nice. So having that educational moment, watching a video. I won't say that you were the one who wanted a Shabbat Schlaf. Maybe you fall asleep during that video, but excellent. Deborah?
Okay, when we were growing up, my dad would do, the Shabbos.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Your dad would be standing exactly where I'm standing. Yes.
My mom would light the candles and say the prayer, and we had a couple of dogs. And as soon as those candles came up, she ran each dog a little lick of wine, and then for the motzi, a little bit of challah. Before we got it, the dogs got it.
The dogs were well trained in Shabbat. Perfect. Right? But each of us does our actions for a reason. Maybe because they feel good and they help us to feel good. Maybe because they help us to remember things that we have forgotten during the week. But our Shabbat behavior has a purpose. And as John was telling us, our Torah portion this week, Vayachel Pekudei, reminds us, recommands us to keep Shabbat. It says that there are a number of actions that were taken in order to build the Mishkan. And right before it says, do all of that work, it says, also don't forget about Shabbat. The work and Shabbat seems to come together in partnership, maybe in conflict. Not really sure. But maybe you'll be able to see on our screens in a second. In the very beginning of our portion, it says, on 6 days work can be done, but on the 7th day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to Adonai. And then it describes not doing all the work, but in the very next sentence it says, and let all among you who are skilled come and make that which Adonai has commanded, a Mishkan, a tabernacle in the wilderness. And it seems odd to me, maybe to you, that right with the commandment to rest, to reconnect, to rejuvenate, to find difference and specialness, right in all of that where it's saying, take yourself out of all those things that have dragged you down, it also says, do that work that drags you down. Right when it says to rest, it also tells you to work. And so you might be saying, why is the Torah contradicting itself? You might be saying that, but the truth is nothing in the Torah is that simple. It's not just a contradiction, because building the Mishkan wasn't a simple project. It was complicated enough to include both the description of the blueprints and the description of the actions. Not perfectly matching, but we get a lot of the descriptions of the Mishkan. And we're told that this action that the Israelites were building in that wilderness was supposed to be God's dwelling place. The place where the Israelites would go to perform rituals, to communicate with God, to have an extra sense of the divine. Not that God wasn't everywhere, but God was easier to connect to in the Mishkan. And the materials are just as fancy as you would expect for any sanctuary, right? Even in this place, it's not just a room. We've made it into our version of a Mishkan. We've made it into a sanctuary. And that Mishkan was supposed to be the home for the ultimate ruler. We might call a home for a ruler a palace. And so this project became a way that the Israelites would find God. But then I know you're all thinking, aren't you supposed to be able to find God on Shabbat? What's going on? How do you need to have a thing and not a day to find God? How does the building of this Mishkan palace support Shabbat? In our Reformed Jewish spaces, we often find meaning in the sacred reading of Torah as metaphor. Right? It doesn't always mean exactly what it's supposed to mean. It's a connection to a bigger picture. And it helps us understand a text that is as complex as Torah. And one of our teachers, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, he has gifted us, the whole Jewish community, with perhaps what could be a useful metaphor for this seemingly contradiction in our text. He says that the Israelites weren't instructed to observe Shabbat and then build the Mishkan. He says that the Israelites were instructed to observe Shabbat as building a Mishkan. They weren't two separate things. was an action all in one. He asks in his book, The Sabbath, what are the kinds of labors that are not to be done on Shabbats? They are, according to the ancient rabbis, all the acts that were necessary to build the construction and furnishing of a sanctuary in the desert. But the Sabbath itself is a sanctuary which we build. It is a sanctuary, a palace in time. He says that the work that we abstain from on Shabbat is just the work of the tangible. But the true work of creation is the work of the intangible. It's the work of time, of making that sacred moment, of making a place where you can do all of those re's because we've lost it in the world of things. When we abstain from the work of the tangible and we instead focus on the work of creation, we get an extra sense of God. Right? So, according to Rabbi Heschel, that command to observe Shabbat and then build is actually a command to raise Shabbat above the basic foundation, to raise it into a full palace in time when the things of the world can't get in and they can't distract us. And so I have for you one more question. What are those creative ways, whether it's on Shabbat or not on Shabbat, what are the creative ways that you build God's palace? Reading and knitting, learning and literally creating. Nice. Singing. There you go. Building God's palace. Studying Torah, right? Enriching yourself. Not a plug for Torah study, but if you'd like to join Torah study, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Dancing. A palace of Legos. There we go. Right? We have so many ways, so many different ways that we can build that palace of time. And Rabbi Heschel reminds us that it takes a true artist, not someone who just does the work, but an artist who brings their fullest self into that moment to build a beautiful palace, just as ornate as the Mishkan, but a palace nonetheless. And every act that we do, every brick of Lego, every knit of yarn, every ingredient that we add to the dish, every word that we study, is a different brick that we add to the palace. He says that creation is the only language that God really speaks. Creation is that language that we can speak with God, and that time becomes God's song. Time becomes the way that God sanctifies time, not by God's self, but with us. And so thank goodness we have that song. A song that is gifted to us, a song that we sing together, a song that we add our unique melodies to. Each piece of that song, each piece of that artistry, each piece of that creation builds our palace. And we get to live in it one day, every week, together. When we build palaces, we build a world that we dream of. We build a world that we want to exist for 7 days, but know that it's actually only temporary. And every act of that creation is an act of repair for those every other days. We're told, L'takein olam b'malchut Shaddai, to do the acts of creation, to do the acts of repair, so that every day can be a palace on its own.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when evil shall not take the place of goodness, when fear
Every time we build, we think of those who taught us how to build, whose legacy our lives become a living blessing towards. So as we turn our thoughts to those who are no longer physically in our everyday lives, but forever remain a part of our hearts, our minds, and our souls, if you're joining us in our digital sanctuary, and you'd like to share the name of someone whom you are thinking of, whether you're in a period of Shiva or Shloshim, marking a yard site, or someone just happens to be called to mind at this moment, I invite you to type their name into a chat or a comment. And as I read the names of those who we are remembering as a community, I invite you to rise as you hear the name of your loved one. This week marks the recent passings of Philip Cowan, Gloria Glynn Don, Darlene Guilford, Rosalind Hammer, Beth Hirschfeld, Virgil Jurens, Vivian Kaplan, Fanny Krashen, Evelyn New, and Edith Phillips. And this week, we mourn the passing of Shirley Rothenberg, wife of Ronald, mother of Sharon, David, and Ellen, grandmother of Dana, Lindsay, Kelly, Jessica, Allie, and Sam, great-grandmother of Dustin, Riley, Bailey, Tyler, Leanie, Addie, and Jonah, and dear loved one of Arnie, Sherry, Jeff, John, Brian, and Daniel. We also mark the passing of Pete Wilson, uncle of Cantor Susan Lewis Freeman, Abigail, and Zev, and dear loved one of Ross, as well as Kathy McEnroe, friend of Brian and Danielle Rubin. This week also marks the yard sites of Pauline Andriozzi, Bessie Arnold, Hazel Bellows, Lucille Eichengreen Block, Herman Bluestein, Anna Carl, Marvin Mickey Cobran, Nathan Desnet, Lillian Dolinka, Irene Fink, Shirley Fishbane, Francis Fleischman, Jean Glick, Joseph Goldberg, Sherman Goldberg, Arnold Heaps, Sam Holzer, Charles Eicher, Fanny Jacobson, Lawrence Jakowski, Arthur Kaplan, Joseph Krieger, Jill Landau, June Luxmore, Raphael Mikado, Jean Milstein, Shirley Mora, Keith Morrison, Byrne L. Pearl, Ethel Platt, Rita Rosenthal, Brandon Rothstein, Milton Ruthstein, Lois Salerno, Diane Saunders, Leo Schiffman, Dorothy Sims, Jill Sonnabend, Nan Stevens, Ruth Stumpf, Rabbi Alan Tarshish, Samuel Tenenbaum, Dennis Weinberg, Donald Wetzel, Robert Wexler, Sybil Winograd, and Elwyn Winston. If there are other names of those whom we are remembering, I invite you to rise and say their name aloud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And together as one family, we turn to our Kadisha tome, our Mourner's Kaddish, beginning on page 294 or 598. Please rise as you are able. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon uv'yomechon, uv'chayed kol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam umeh omaya, yitbarach v'ishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal, shmei d'kudsha b'rechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Zikronam Levracha, may the memories forever be a blessing. And together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Jerry Tater. I'm proud to be a member of the executive committee of the synagogue, and I can read better without my glasses. I'm just discovering that. First I want to thank everyone who made this all possible. Rabbi Cohen, Rabbi Heaps, Cantor Friedman, Zev, wherever you are. Reed over on the computer, and Matt Peterson, who really brings joy to us with the music. We appreciate it. And especially, did I mention Paul? Paul, I can't forget you. I'm sorry. And our choir, who is just always so beautiful. What? Judy. Oh, well, the solo, the tambourine player is always my favorite. Always. It's just amazing. The tambourine. You don't know that I met her when she was with the Cowsills. But that's a whole different story. Yeah, well, you know. Truly, though, the one I want to thank the most are all of you who come here regularly on Friday nights and make this a community. And that's what gives the service, to me at least, real meaning. And that all of you together, praying as one, speaking as one, learning as one, is what makes us significant. And I thank all of you, and I think you should thank each other and yourself for taking the time to be here in these evenings. I want to mention a couple of events coming up. Don't go to the Miller's house for any of them. I'm telling you that now, but there are a couple of events that I want you to go to. A week from Sunday, March 26th, we have joining with Mayot Chatim. Mayot Chatim literally means wheat money. Why is it called wheat money? It's right before Pesach, and we are literally bringing people who are food challenged in our community, Jewish people in the food community, matzah. The money's being spent on the wheat for the matzah. Matzah and other goods for Passover. So these will be prepackaged Passover gifts to bring to these families to help them celebrate Pesach. And it's a week from Sunday, the 26th, to join us. On April 21st, Friday night, after services, we are also going to have a dinner here at the synagogue. The seating is limited. That's why I'm telling you this now. It will be a progressive dinner where you'll go from table to table for different things to meet members of our community, new members, maybe you haven't never met before, and talk, but to share Shabbat with them. So I ask you all to join us that night. Make sure you go online and sign up to do both of these events. And Shabbat Shalom.
How'd you know? Please rise for our closing song and blessing, page 321 or 625. May we be as blessed as we were as we showed up into this palace, as we are as we leave this palace. May each of us find our own blessings to share with each other and find our own ways to continue to build a time of sanctity, a time of newness, a time of meaning and creation from this Shabbat to next Shabbat and every Shabbat. And together we say, Amen.
Adon,
Shabbat Shalom.
Second ending. Second ending.